Hello everyone, it's welcome to your second part of polymer. In last lecture we have started with polymer topic where we have seen some little bit introduction regarding the polymer, its history and the scientific contribution, and then we have started with the classification basis. As I have told you earlier, there are so many bases as far as the classification of polymers are concerned. And there may be source, there may be the type of polymers, polymerization reaction, then type of monomers involved, biodegradability nature, then molecular forces existing between the polymeric chain. So there are so many ways by which polymers can be classified, and we have started with one basis for classification, that is nothing but source. So as far as source is concerned, there are three types. One, it refers to natural, second it refers to semi-synthetic, and third it refers to synthetic. Natural again classified into two types. One, it refers to plant, and second it refers to animals. And there I have explained how to write notes depending upon that classification basis. Here as well I am going to explain that in what way you are supposed to write notes. Okay, so now today in this lecture we will start with the second basis for classification, and that refers to the structure of polymer. So structure of polymer plays very important role. That basis of classification depends upon the arrangement of monomers in the polymeric chain. So in what way those monomers are attached to one another, on basis of that there is a second basis for classification, and that refers to classification of polymer based on the structure. Okay, so on basis of structure, polymers are classified into three types. Okay, so one, it refers to linear polymer, then it is also called straight chain, okay, second basis that refers to branch polymers, and the third one, that is so called three-dimensional cross-linked polymer, okay, or it can also called as network polymer. Right? See, so there are three types. The first type that refers to linear or straight chain polymer. The name itself indicates that as far as the linear or straight chain polymer is concerned, since we are discussing about structure, the structure for that first type of polymer has to be linear. It means whatever monomer molecules are there, that should attach to one another in a somewhat linear way, right? And that's why it results into formation of somewhat straight chain. So as far as the whole polymeric chain is concerned, there is somewhat linear arrangement of the monomers. How? That we will see. See, if you are going to have a monomer unit like this, okay, let's say this is a monomer unit, and it has to be bifunctional. Okay, one thing that you are going to remember as far as linear or straight chain polymers are concerned, the monomer unit we are going to use, that must be bifunctional in nature. What it means? It means it's said to possess two reactive sides, okay, this and this, okay, two ends, and that's why it's going to be bifunctional. Such many bifunctional units attached to one another, like this, on both sides, and therefore it results into formation of a long continuous chain, okay. It's simply the straight chain, or it is linear in nature, and that's why the type of polymer is so called as linear polymer. Right? So this refers to the linear or the straight chain polymers. For this, what you are supposed to write? You will write first this as a classification of polymer based on structure. What next to that you will write? In that point, in that you are supposed to write, it depends upon the arrangement of monomers in a polymeric chain. That point you are supposed to write. After that you will write there are three types, okay, so those are linear or straight chain polymer, then second is branch polymer, and third it refers to three-dimensional cross-link polymer or the network polymer, right? After that what you will write, you will start with this, that is the first type whatever I have explained to you, that is linear or straight chain polymer. So write this type first, okay, and that you will write the monomers involved are bifunctional. Okay, well, what is bifunctional? That I told you. That is, it's said to possess two sites of attachment, 1 and 2, or the two reactive centers where the reaction can take place, right? So what you are supposed to write in this? Monomers are bifunctional. Second point you are supposed to write, monomers get attached to one another in a linear way, thus resulting into formation of straight chain structure or straight chain polymer. Is it clear? So that refers to the linear or straight chain polymer. The best example for this is nothing but PVC and HDPE. It's PVC, that is polyvinyl chloride. PVC pipe you are familiar with, okay, which are used to carry the water pipelines. So this is PVC, the plastic pipes which are carrying water, which are made up of PVC, right? So it's a polyvinyl chloride. And second, it refers to HDPE, that is high density polyethylene. Okay, so the example for linear or straight chain polymers, it refers to PVC and HDPE. Second, it refers to branch polymer, right? Branch polymer, the name itself indicates that there must be branching present in the structure of that polymer. So how is it possible that we will see? For branching, that monomeric unit must be trifunctional, or it's said to possess functionality more than 3. How? That we will see. Let's say this is a monomeric unit. Okay, if only 2 sites of attachments are there, or if only 2 reactive centers are there, then that is said to be bifunctional. But now in this case we require trifunctionality or 3 functional groups. That's why this is the 3rd site of attachment. Okay, so if we are going to have a branch polymer, there are 3 sites, 1, 2 and 3, and that's why it results into formation of a branching. Okay, so let's say this is the main polymeric chain, this refers to branch, and that's why branch polymer is said to possess structure like this. Okay, at the middle or somewhere here onto that main polymeric chain there is a branching. Okay, like this. So these are so called as branch polymer. The best example for this is nothing but LDPE. It's low density polyethylene. So for explaining this, or while explaining this, what we will write? For branch polymers, monomer unit must be trifunctional or said to possess 3 functional group, and they get attached to one another or reacts with one another, resulting into formation of a branching. Okay, so that refers to the second type, that refers to branch polymer. The third type, it refers to 3-dimensional cross-link polymer, or it is simply called as network polymer. Now for formation of cross-link polymers, monomer unit said to possess functionality more than 3. So it must be tetrafunctional, pentafunctional, and therefore we will call it as polyfunctional monomers. So for formation of 3-dimensional cross-link polymer or network polymer, functionality must be higher, and that's why polyfunctional monomer units are required in order to have formation for cross-link polymer or network polymer. So in that case, as far as the 3-dimensional cross-link net polymers are concerned, so monomers said to possess higher functionality, or they must be polyfunctional, and that's why what will happen. See, if this is a main polymeric chain, okay, this is second polymeric chain, this is the third one, and these 3 polymeric chains, they are attached to one another due to formation of this very small cross links in between them. Okay, and that's why if you observe it carefully, it looks like a network, right? And that's why this kind of polymer is also called as network polymer. So while writing about 3-dimensional cross-link polymer or network polymer, you will write monomer required must be polyfunctional in nature, and the structure so formed or the polymer so formed said to possess network-like structure, therefore it is called network polymer, and small cross-links are formed in between these polymeric chains. Okay, so that refers to the network polymer or the cross-link polymer. So as far as the best example for that network polymer, it refers to it is bakelite and melamine. Okay, we are going to see both this polymer in somewhat detail. Bakelite and melamine, it's MELAMINE. Okay, bakelite and melamine. So this is something about the second basis for classification, that is on basis of structure. It refers to linear, where there is a linear arrangement for the monomers in a polymeric chain. Example is PVC and HDP. It is better clear from that diagram. Then is branch polymers, where branching is present in between the polymeric chains, right? And the monomer unit involved must said to possess functionality higher than 2. It must be trifunctional. Then only branching is visible. And in third, 3-dimensional cross-link polymer or network polymer. Here there is a small cross-links are present in between the polymeric chains, and that's why it form a network-like structure. Therefore, they are called as network polymer, and the functionality for that monomer must be polyfunctional. And the example is bakelite and melamine. We are going to see this preparation of those polymers, its properties and application part in somewhat detail, but in later part of that whatever topic. But this is something about the introduction for those polymers. Okay, so this is for the second basis for classification. Now we will start with third basis for classification, and that is depending upon the types of polymerization reactions involved. So as far as we know, polymers are concerned. Polymers, they can be prepared by various ways. First, general reaction which is utilized in order to form polyethylene-like polymer, that refers to addition reaction, and the second type, which is nothing but condensation reaction. So now we will see third type or the classification basis, and that refers to classification of polymer based on way of polymerization reaction. So this is third basis. Or you can write types of polymerization reaction, anything. Okay. So the third basis for classification is nothing but as far as the third basis for classification, it refers to the types or the way of polymerization reaction. Now, as far as types of polymerization reaction is concerned, there are two types. One, it refers to addition polymerization. The name itself indicates that there is simply addition of monomer unit, and therefore the resulting reaction is called as addition polymerization. And the second type, that is called as condensation polymerization. Okay. Okay. So that refers to the second type, that is condensation. Addition, the name itself indicates that there is simply addition of monomer unit. There is no more removal of any simple molecules, or there is no more removal of intermediate, there is no more formation of intermediate. And in this case, whatever the lower molecular mass material is there, that is getting converted into higher molecular mass material. In condensation polymerization, that is second type, there is always removal of simple molecule. It may be water, it may be ammonia, anything. Okay, so that refers to condensation polymerization. Okay, so now we will start with addition polymerization in somewhat detail. See, in addition polymerization is basically observed in case of vinyl molecules, or basically in terms of alkene molecules. Okay, and that's why this type of polymerization is also called as vinyl polymerization. So in that case, the monomer unit which involve the double bond, they have tendency to undergo this type of polymerization reaction. So first we will start with addition polymerization. Okay. Okay, so this is addition polymerization. See, as far as the addition polymerization is concerned, there is a free radical mechanism which always explains the addition polymerization. And there are three steps involved in addition polymerization. So while now writing this third basis of classification, what you will write as a title, write this as a title, classification of polymer based on type or way of polymerization reaction. Okay. After that, write title as addition polymerization. What you will write in that? In addition polymerization, monomer units undergoes simply addition without removal of simple molecules or without formation of intermediate. Second point, you will write, this type of polymerization is usually observed in alkene type of molecules or vinyl type molecules. Therefore, it is also called as vinyl polymerization. So we will see some simple example. And what the third point you are supposed to write? Addition polymerization can be better explained by free radical mechanism. Okay, so once after 3 points are over, then you will write title as free radical mechanism. Okay, next you will write it involves 3 steps, out of which first we are going to see in somewhat detail. First step it called as chain initiation. Okay, so write down title as chain initiation. Now what you are supposed to write in chain initiation? What do you write? In this type of state, or you can call it as state 1. Okay, state 1, chain initiation. What do you write? In this monomer unit, in order to undergo chain initiation, or in order to undergo simply polymerization reaction, it requires initiator. So first point you will write, this step requires initiator. Second you will write, the catalyst commonly used or initiator commonly used are, it may be benzoyl peroxide. Okay. So which type of catalyst are used? It is benzoyl peroxide. Okay. Next, it is acetyl peroxide or tertiary butyl peroxide. Okay. So what do you write? Second point, the catalysts commonly used are benzoyl peroxide, acetyl peroxide and tertiary butyl peroxide. What third you will write? This use of this catalyst results in formation of free radical. Okay, so these 3 points you are supposed to write. We will revise it. In first point you will write state 1 chain initiation. In that you will write it requires catalyst. Second point, catalysts commonly used are benzoyl peroxide, acetyl peroxide or tertiary butyl peroxide. And third point you will write it involves or it results in formation of a free radical. Okay, so I will explain this to you with the help of acetyl peroxide as an example. Okay, so let's start with this. Now as we know, peroxide, H2O2 you know, it's hydrogen peroxide. I have explained to you earlier H2O2. What is structure? Okay, H2O2. We know this is a mild oxidizing agent, right? So same peroxide is there, H2O2. So 2 oxygens are there in this peroxide again. Okay, but structure is like this. What is acetyl group? Acetyl group, acetic acid, you are familiar with, right? Acetic acid is this, CH3, C double bond OH, right? This is acetic acid. What we'll do is, we will have the 2 moles of acetic acid. Okay, so what you will do is, we will just remove the water. Okay, and what will happen? No, we will have the 2 acetyl group, right, like this. Okay, and what will happen? It results into formation of 2 acetyl group. You see, this is H3C double bond O. This is 1 acetyl, and CH3C double bond O. This is second acetyl, and this is peroxide. So this is somewhat similar to this. Okay, only hydrogen is replaced by acetyl group. So 2 hydrogens, they are replaced by 2 acetyl group. Okay, so this acetyl peroxide we have taken. What next we will do? What will happen? This acetyl peroxide undergoes homolytic fission. So there are 2 types we have seen earlier, 2 types, homolytic fission and heterolytic fission. So in homolytic there is equal distribution of electrons, right? So the bond between these 2 oxygen undergoes homolytic fission, and that's why it results into formation of 2 CH3COO group. CH3COO. Right? Like this. Okay. So this is CH3C double bond O, and this onto that oxygen there is 1 electron. Okay. Such 2 molecules we are going to have. Is it clear? What next will happen? See, bond this bond between methyl and this carbonyl group undergoes again homolytic fission. How? That we will see. See, this is the bond, these are the bonds, okay, one directional bonds indicating the position for that electrons, right? So one bond will go with this CH3. So after this, what you will write is CH3, okay, 2 CH3 must be there with 1 electron on it. Is it clear? And 1 electron will go where? 1 electron will go with this C carbon. Now that 1 electron and this 1 electron combines, and that's why it results in formation of CO2 molecules. Okay, and that's why there is 2 CO2. Is it clear? So it's 2 methyl and 2 CO2 molecule. Okay. Now this methyl radical plays very important role in second state. So after that we will write methyl radical. So write this methyl radical downside over here. Is it clear? So up to this we have seen chain initiation, that is the first step involved in free radical mechanism which is used to explain addition polymerization. Now we will see something about the second step so involved. Okay, so let's start with the second step. I hope up to this it is clear to you. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me later. You can call me or you can message me. Second step. Okay, this is chain propagation. Right? So chain propagation, that is the most important step involved in additional polymerization or let's say the chain reaction. This is because this decides the length of that polymeric chain. So in chain propagation, whatever the methyl radicals so form, see before chain reaction or before propagation there is one more step. Huh? See, once you form this, once you have this methyl radical now, okay, what next will happen? This methyl radical will get added to the monomeric unit. Let's say monomeric unit is ethene. Okay, we have written ethene. Now how reaction takes place? See, this methyl radical and this CH2. Again, okay, this type of reaction will take place and it results in formation of CH3. Okay, this CH3 as it is. This one electron and one more electron from this double bond. Okay, like this. Okay, so there is a bond formation between methyl and this methylene group. Okay. Then this second bond remains as it is, right? And this one electron so present over now, that gets shifted to the second methylene. And therefore result in this. So this is the new radical form. Is it clear? See, once again, once the in initiation, once there is a formation of methyl radical is done, it is acting as a catalyst. It reacts with this ethene, that is a monomeric unit. So this one electron from methyl will react with this CH2, that is double bond so involved over there, right? So there is one electron so present over there that get combines with this CH3 and it results in formation of a single bond, and there is a one electron present onto the CH2. Is it clear? So from that methyl radical it generates a new radical. Okay, so these are the two steps involved in chain initiation, that is step 1. Now we will proceed with chain propagation. So step 2, it refers to, okay, now this is a most important step. Second step is most important. So what you will write in this, okay, this is a second step, this is most important step. This takes place very rapidly and the length of the polymeric chain depends upon chain propagation step. Okay, these 4 points you are supposed to write in chain propagation. See, and the reaction you are supposed to write is this new radical I will write as it is. Okay, to that what next we will write? We will add n molecules of ethene, that is this. Okay, because we are going to increase the length of polymeric chain, na? So we will increase length of polymeric chain. Okay, what next will happen? Again, same process will take place. Okay, like this, and I will write this as, okay, n moles will get attached over there, and therefore it results in formation of this kind of radical. Is it clear? So that refers to the step where the length of polymeric chain increases. So this is very fast step. So that refers to chain propagation. And now we will come to the third step, which is so called as termination. Okay, so write down third as chain termination. Is it clear to you? What we have written is CH3, CH2, CH2, that is new radical from the initiation state. Then we have added n moles of ethene molecules, okay, so many monomer unit or ethene unit, So that will get added to one another, and that's the result into formation of this kind of polymer. See, this CH2 we have written over here. You can write in any way. Okay. So this CH2 and CH2, that n moles of monomers are getting attached within these new radical. Okay, and the chain length increases like this. And third step is nothing but chain termination. So that chain reaction has to be stopped somewhere, right? So ultimately, at some stage, that whatever chain reaction has to stop, and that's why the third step is nothing but chain termination, right? So whatever radical we got, okay, they get adds to itself, and that reaction get ends. Okay, so that is a termination step. So how it takes place, that we will see. What I told you is whatever the radical, okay, higher molecular weight radicals so form, it get adds to itself, and the reaction stops. Okay, how, that we will see. So this is the last step in chain termination. What do you write? Ultimately, that chain reaction has to stop somewhere, so it results in formation of a polymer. And in second point, you will write the long chain polymeric free radical. Okay, it get adds to itself and results in termination. So after these 2 points, you are supposed to write the next reaction. See, CH3, CH2, CH2, and moles, then CH2, CH2, right? So I have written this whatever free radical as it is over here, but we are supposed to write it twice. As I told you that this monomeric unit, that free radical unit adds to get itself. That's why I have written twice, right? So how it will take place? Let's see. What should I write is? Okay, this as it is. Okay, CH2, CH2N. But this one unit is there now. That will add to this. Therefore, I have written 1. Is it clear? Okay. And there is one more, because we have taken n moles of that whatever long chain free radical. So this is second unit, right? Okay. But with this, there is one more CH2, CH2. Therefore, what I will write is N1, and therefore the reaction is like this. Okay. So whatever those units are there, that get added. Is it clear to you why I have written +1? Because see, I have written same unit CH3, CH2, 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 okay, with N. But with this N, this unit is there, na? Therefore I have added 1. Okay, and such one more unit is present along with this. Therefore I have written CH3, that's CH3. Then this CH2, CH2 with N moles as it is. But along with this, there is one ethylene unit. So that's why I have added 1. Is it clear? So instead of writing N over here, we have added N plus 1 over here. Okay. So with this, there is a third step for that free radical mechanism it aims. Is it clear? So we have started with the second basis for classification, that is structure we have seen, and then we have done with this third. Okay. It's nothing but types of polymerization reaction or way of polymerization reaction. First type is nothing but addition, second type is condensation. In this lecture we have done with additional polymerization reaction. One more point to revise is addition polymerization is explained by free radical mechanism. 3 steps are there. One, it refers to chain initiation, second it refers to chain propagation, and third it refers to chain termination. So with this we are completing the first type in this classification basis, that is nothing but addition polymerization. We have explained this with free radical mechanism. In next lecture we will start with the second type of classification, that is nothing but condensation polymerization. Is it clear? So we will stop here. In next lecture we will start with condensation polymerization. Thank you.